You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, 11th day of June, 2019. Thanks so much for joining us, whoever you are, wherever you are. We're just glad to have you right here, right now. Got a chart up of the S&P 500 Emini Futures. It's a daily chart. If you cannot see the chart, just go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered in about 30 seconds, and that will give you one-click access to the show each and every day. Now, on the days you find yourself away from the office, away from the desktop, just grab an internet-connected device and point it towards youtube.com/CFRN/live. There you will find our live real-time simulcast during the show each and every day, brought to you by the good folks at YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. All right, this daily chart I have up today, same one I had up yesterday, except it's got another day added. I drew a little rectangle, I guess we'll call it, right here. And I labeled that potential resistance. In fact, later in the show, I'll take you to the Telegram channel and I'll show you where Saturday morning, when the markets were closed, I actually created this chart originally then, Saturday morning. Okay. Now, why would I say that particular area would be potential resistance? I did cover it on the show yesterday, and when I come back in a few moments after Michael gives us a recap of what happened in the live training room today, I'm going to go over it again. Okay, it's a very important takeaway. Now, this applies to anyone who is a CFRN partner or a CFRN passport holder, because that means you have access, you own our proprietary indicator set, and it is that indicator set that we use to determine, in this case, exactly where that potential resistance would come in. 2 days into the area, it looks like we may have found good resistance. Okay? Now, yesterday at the beginning of the program, I kind of went through who we are, what we do, how we do it, for anyone that might be new to the show, or maybe you've been following us off and on for a while, and maybe it was never really made clear. Exactly what do we do? Now, some people will come into the live training room, kind of understand what's happening there, and then they show up for the radio show here, and there's a disconnect or perhaps a little confusion because, well, wait a minute, that guy was pointing out trade opportunities this morning in the training room, but now these guys are talking about the weather and Tesla and who knows what. All right, so there's two different major life events happening each and every day. Well, there's three major life events happening every day at CFRN. We start the day in the live training room, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Michael is your guide. He walks you through all of the different markets, S&P, the Dow, the Russell, the NASDAQ, crude, gold, the euro, whatever's moving, whatever might be trending. He is pointing out the opportunities step by step per our methodology and per our proprietary indicator set. I know that many of you have struggled for years to learn how to trade. Okay? And don't feel bad. Most people do struggle. In fact, most people struggle until they just can't get back up again. That's why the statistic I shared yesterday, I'll share it with you again real quick. There we go. It's no wonder that 9 out of 10 new traders fail. Number one, they have no teacher. I mean, hands down, that's the answer. But what's out there on the internet, it's confusing, it's convoluted, and often conflicting in nature. By comparison, our methodology is drop dead simple. That did not happen by accident. What we do is simple by design. People get overwhelmed when they lay eyes and lay hold of all the stuff that's out there. From indicators to oscillators to chat rooms to gurus. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. How could any one person ever learn and understand, afford, and put to use all that stuff? Well, the simple answer is you can't. It's not possible, okay? So what we've done, and again, simple by design, not accident, we've filtered out the noise. We've reduced everything to what we consider to be the lowest possible common denominator. You see, if you attempt to know everything that's out there, well, that's just not going to happen. Hence, you're going to get frustrated. Your learning curve is going to come to an abrupt halt. You're just going to go out there and start clicking the mouse, trying to figure out some way to make some money. And, well, that never ends well. At least not 9 out of 10 times, right? Now, if 9 out of 10 fail, what happens to the 1 out of 10? What's that all about? Go find a successful, profitable trader. Ask them, sir, could I ask you just one question? Okay. Did you have a teacher when you were learning how to trade? Now, 9 times out of 10, that one person, the 1 out of 10, 9 times out of 10, he's going to tell you, well, yeah, of course. See, to them, it's just, well, how else would you do it? Now, the 9 out of 10 probably understood they needed to learn somehow, but again, there was so much, and it was so costly, that they just threw in the towel. Not on trading. No, they still have an account to blow up. So they just throw in the towel on learning and decide to just go click the mouse. Now, I did it. You've probably done it. 10 out of 10 probably did it. But 1 out of 10 decided, I'm going to find a teacher. I'm going to find somebody who can help me make sense of all this. Okay? If you don't get an education here, I beseech ye, my brethren, get a good, solid education somewhere. Now, getting an education doesn't mean you're never going to get stopped out again, that all your trades are going to be profitable, that you'll always knock it out of the park. No, doesn't mean that at all. What it means is, on a very basic level, you will understand how markets work. Once you understand that, we'll teach you it's a business based on probabilities, okay? Then one step at a time, from sim to one contract and points beyond, in a very controlled environment with consistent teaching every single day, Monday through Friday, 2 hours. There's none better at teaching our method than Michael, and he's right there every morning to show you everything you need to see, help you understand everything you need to understand. When he comes on in just a second, he's going to tell you how to take our trial, to come in and just see with your own eyes. See, I don't ask you to just believe me. Well, that would be silly. No. We want you to vet it, kick the tires, ask the hard questions, so that at the end of the trial, you will be able to make a well-informed decision as to whether or not our simple approach is the right approach for you. If you've struggled, if you've blown up accounts, and if you've not taken our trial, what do you have to lose? There's no credit card required. You show up, you watch, you listen, you take notes, you ask questions. You'll get 10 hours of training in live markets, 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and you'll also receive a one-on-one mentoring session at no charge. Okay? Now, that's what we offer. I hope you'll take me up on it. Let's go look at the numbers from around the world, and when I come back, we'll talk about the charts and Concierge Trade Alerts from last night and Logic 247, and of course, answers to all of your questions. Let's get over to the numbers. Last time I looked, I had them right here, or maybe it was here. Maybe it was here. I got them. Hang on. Here we go. All right. Again, cash markets, starting here in the U.S. Currently, the Dow is down 20 points. NASDAQ is down 11. S&P 500 is down 3. The Russell 2000 is down 10. No movers, no shakers. The markets were positive early on, but that's changed. In the commodity basket, crude oil has gained 4 cents today, trading 53.30 last. Gold has gained $1.10, trading 13.30.40 last. If you've ever wondered what the definition of quiet trade is, well, that's it, all right? In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 70 points. Shanghai posted a gain of 73 points. Now for the Shanghai, that's actually a gain of 2.5%. And the Hang Seng at the close added 210 points, 0.75%. And in the European markets, at the close, FTSE up 22 points, DAX up 110. Now that's almost 1% for the DAX. And the CAC up 25. That makes it a green day in Asia, green day in the UK, and a recently turned red here in the US of A. There you have it. Those are the numbers from around the world. Let's go to Michael and get a recap of the numbers and what happened in our own live training room today. Michael, take it away.
Okay. Let me bring it over here and put it right on here. Hang on. Okay, here we go. You should be looking. Yes, you are looking.
I have it locked and loaded.
At our home page. There you go.
Okay, it's all yours. I'm backing out.
Okay, here we go. So, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page at CFRN.net. And right over here in the right-hand column, where it says 5-day free trial, apply.cfrn.net. Click on that. You can click on that. You can click on any one of these things down here. Free 5-day trial. Use proprietary indicators. Free. You click on that, and it's going to bring you to this page. Where all we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number. You can tell us your biggest trading challenge so we can tailor stuff to you. But hit the send button. Once you hit the send button, you'll be sent all the information that you need to get into the live training room. Okay? So today, like Dwayne said, today was just a really slow, quiet trading day. Today, we lost 4 ticks on crude and we made 12 ticks on the ES. That put us at plus 110 on the morning. Today took 73 minutes and 5 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $110 a contract, and we took a total of 8 trade opportunities today. On the month now, we're up $1,100 even. That's over 7 days, averaging $157 per day. On the year now, we're at 12,863. That's over 102 days, averaging 126 per day. 126 per day. Okay, so we'll show you what we did or didn't do. Now, gold today was just a mess. Look at this. This is gold. There were no trade setups at all. There was almost one here, but I didn't like the cycle, so we didn't do anything with it. And yeah, and just nothing. Gold was just a mess today. I don't know why. Typically, you know, we had news events this morning, and usually if there's big moves in the pre-market, the rest of the day is going to be messy. But we didn't really have big news today. We had CPI and core CPI, I think, came out, but no big surprises, and it was just a mess. And this is the euro. Same thing with the euro. We didn't have a thing. You know, I suppose if we were trending in here, and this is in the pre-market, you can't do anything. And we didn't put in a higher swing, so you can't do anything here. There was just nothing in the euro today. Does everybody see that and understand why? The good news is we didn't stop out. The bad news is we didn't have any trade setups. So not every day is going to be a banner day. All right, on crude. On this first one right here, oh wait, it looks like I highlighted one back here. Yeah, okay, we'll go back to the beginning of the session. We weren't trending here either on crude. Then it made a move down. And this area was the area that I established last week. Well, I didn't establish it. I just pointed it out. But last week, on Tuesday, and there'll be a new area today at 4:30 that I will point out to you. And I don't know if you guys remember last week. Let's bump it to an hourly chart. When I pointed that area out last week, wow, it's way over here now. But price dropped all the way down to 50.60. And I said, it's going to get back to that area. I don't know why this is acting like this, but I said it's going to get back to that area. And sure enough, it's back there. And the reason I do that I do it on Wednesdays, actually. The area is established on Tuesdays at 4:30 in the afternoon, but I pointed out to everybody on Wednesdays, and it went all the way down to 50.60, and then went all the way back up above that area, 53.68. But anyway, let's go through the trade setups. We had a break even here, a +1 there. We stopped out there to put us at -7. I missed a break even trade there, and we picked up 4 ticks right here at the end, or 3 ticks right here at the end. Sorry, to put us at -4. During the break, there was a trade right here on the short side, another trade right here on the short side, and that was it. That was it. Okay. All right, on the ES, let's see, what did we do? The ES started out really choppy too. Well, right here at 938, there was a leg down, then a leg back up, then a leg back down. Then we had a bounce off the BBC right here, but I didn't do anything with it because I think the black step line looked like it was crossing. Then it got really choppy for about, I don't know, 20 minutes. Then right here we had a break even. We had another break even. We picked up 8 ticks on this. This was a bounce off the BBC. Okay. And we picked up 4 ticks here. That put us at +12 on the morning session. Nothing there, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. And that was it. That was it. During the break, there were no trade setups. Okay. So we'll jump back over here and look at this. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you could read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Again, today is the 11th day of June 2019. We lost 4 ticks on crude and made 12 ticks on the ES, +110 on the morning session. Today took 73 minutes and 5 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up 110, and we took a total of 8 trades today. So on the month now, we're up $1,100. That's over 7 days, averaging $157 per day. On the year, $12,863. That's over 102 days, averaging 126 per day. Now that is one contract, 2 hours per day. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page at CFRN.net. Right over here in the right-hand column, it says 5-day free trial. Click on that, and you will be brought to this page where all we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Your name, email, and phone number. Okay? Once you supply us with that information, we will send you all the information you need to get into our luxurious 5-day free trial. And during the free trial, you should really download the indicator set. Okay, download the charting platform if you don't have it already, and then download the indicator set as well, so you can actually see stuff happening on your screens, not just looking at mine. Okay. All right. And with that, we can pass it back out to Studio A in fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
Ready we are.
Okay.
All right, let's get a chart up on the screen.
John's out there too, by the way.
Yeah, recap of the recap.
Today, 73 minutes, 5 trades, $110 contract.
Well, that certainly sounds like a good bingo to me.
It was.
Okay.
Ding.
All
Let me
right.
know when John's back.
Now, guys, we're going to chat with John here for a bit. And at the beginning of the show, when I mentioned that during the radio broadcast versus the live training room, we talk about a variety of things. We look at, equities. We look at politics. We answer your questions, just wherever the day might lead us. However, today I want to remind you that when I finish talking with John, we're actually going to go through trade alerts from last night, the concierge, some of the logic, just give you a better idea and feel for exactly what's transpiring day by day. John, welcome to the show. All right, John will pop in here in a second.
Yeah, I opened his mic up.
Yeah, I just got off the phone with him, so I know he's on his way in. So let's talk about this daily chart for a second, all right? We identified this area as potential resistance, okay? I won't drag it out. I'll just show you by applying CFRN indicators, which, by the way, these indicators have served us well over 6 years, and it's been more than 6 years since we changed even one line of code in them. And honestly, I don't foresee there ever being a change going forward, because when you have something that works, something that isn't broken, there's certainly no need to fix it. Now, I know some people will go, well, yeah, but you can't say that because markets change and conditions change. And I say, yeah, exactly. Because what we've managed to do with our indicator set is to mirror the market itself. So it doesn't matter what the market does, we're going to mirror that. Honestly, our indicator set has but one purpose in life. Doesn't matter what market you apply them to or what time frame you apply them to. Their job is to simply go in and within just a couple of seconds identify the underlying rhythm of the market and then highlight what we believe to be the highest probability area for entries and exits. Trading's not easy, so why don't you make it simple? That's what we've done, and you're invited to come along. We call this a bearish cross. Sounds fancy? Here's what it means. This red and blue line we refer to as the CFMA1, okay? Because we had to call it something other than the red and blue line. Not that we haven't called stuff just, I don't know, the green line, because we have, and we do, but maybe we tried to give it a name, so we did. Now, when it turns red, well, let me say this. When it's blue, that's bullish, and when it's red, we consider that bearish. Doesn't matter the market or the time frame, that's what it means. Now, when the blue line is above the green line, which we call the BBC, and that simply means bull, bear, cross. When price crosses above the BBC, the green line, we anticipate higher prices, which I guess means we're bullish, whether we're looking at a 1-minute chart or a monthly chart. Now, when price is below, and when the CFMA1 turns red and gets below the BBC, we anticipate lower prices. Or that makes us, I suppose, bearish for whatever market and whatever time frame we're currently observing. On the daily chart, you won't see a lot of bull-bear crosses. And if you've been trading for any length of time, that should have made you sit up straight in your chair. I better listen to this. Back here, December 11th, we had a bearish cross, and it led to the worst December since 1932. We then had a bullish cross January 11th, and from January 11th to May 1st, we just screamed higher. Oh, we did pull back. Price always reverts to the mean, and in this case, in our case, the mean is the BBC, and price will always revert to the mean. So we came back to test it and put in another leg, and came back to test it and put in another leg. Then price got below, and then the CFMA1, red at the time, crossed below the green BBC. Is that important? Yes, because in that moment in time, our bullish nature becomes bearish. Not because we've studied a lot of spreadsheets and interviewed some higher ups, some muckety mucks in the world, captains of industry and all of that. We haven't, run their earnings report and dissect. No. Remember, I said it was simple by design. So you can go do all that stuff if you want, but there's already a bunch of people doing it, right? So it's kind of redundant. Or you can just look at your chart and go, oh, boy, does that save you some time. So when we get across, especially on a daily chart, now again, this is applicable and fluid across all markets, all time frames, but on this daily, on the S&P, we got this bearish cross, May 13th. Had not had one since December 11th, right? We know what day it took place, this bearish cross, May 13th, this big event. What price? Well, I kind of drew a little line. You see right there where they cross. Now, we had a gap higher open Sunday night. We gapped right into that resistance area. Day 2 of the resistance, starting to build what very well could be another leg to the downside. Which, if that happens, and if price gets back below the BBC, all of this will turn out to be a head fake. Well, what's a head fake? I'll show you. You see here, price got above the BBC, and for a beat, the CFMA1 got above, but quickly reversed before any trade opportunities presented themselves. And so many people got long here, right into resistance, sadly, and got handed their head as they watched the market fall during the worst December since 1932. All right, so back over here. If this price was important enough for our CFMA1 to get below our BBC, and we understand that important prices and important areas are almost always tested, when price comes back to test the area, guess what? Potential resistance. John, welcome to the show.
Hi there. Hi. Thanks.
Good to have you with us.
Thanks for the invite. Yeah, that was a good, I think you had that potential resistance in there yesterday, and it was good. It's certainly holding back the market today. I had a feeling this higher open this morning would turn into a sell, and
looks like we're going to have an outside day.
Yeah, look, it's. I mean, this is such a dramatic move up. I don't expect too much of a pullback. Could come back to 28.70 maybe, 28.60 possibly, something like that. It might hold in here, and I tell you what, if it does, and we just take out that 2900 rather level, jeepers, this thing is going to go to new highs in a heartbeat. And to be honest with you, the way the whole markets are setting up here, there was the report came out this morning, and the corn is up. Obviously, they didn't plant much corn by the looks of it, because it's up 12. The wheat is up 6. The grains are just a little bit off still, but I think the sector is bullish. Lumber is limit up. It's beyond limit up. It's up 19 for some reason.
Really?
It must be an expiring month or something. It's probably locked limit up in September. Copper is really acting very doggishly right now. That's the sort of worst performing in the metals. I called the lows on the gold this morning. I kind of talked to a few
lumber,
people.
John. Check that out. That's 30 minutes, but you can see, we locked limit.
Yeah.
Let's Now, my wife and I were at Lowe's home improvement store yesterday, just to buy a big sheet of plywood for our dog kennel or dog run. And now I'm no lumber expert. I don't buy a lot of wood, but that sheet of plywood, I think it was $40.
Yeah,
that seemed expensive, but I'm cheap, so I don't know. And then I started to tell my wife the story of how the price of lumber collapsed right before the big housing collapse back last decade. And I'm wondering, are we perhaps could this be leading us to higher prices in real estate?
The structure on this lumber looks extremely bullish. Maybe you can squeeze it up a bit, see where it's going. I think it's at a kind of a
Look at that.
It certainly looks like it's going to go back to the 450 level.
Look at this huge island bottom down here.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if it gets up to 375 and then gaps again and leaves a kind of an island bottom there. That would be very bullish. But do
you think could this be an early indication that we're about to see a surge in real estate prices?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think there's another wave coming in the real estate. It's had a pretty big pullback, and if the Fed, it's starting to look like, in fact, the Peter Schiff, who's a guy I respect, I saw there's a video of him interviewed in December on Fox News. He's claiming to be the first in the world to call for a rate cut. Back then, this year, I think we beat him to it.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, that's cute.
I think we call it.
That's cute, Peter.
But I think when did we call it? August last year.
I think you did,
September.
John. I think you did.
And it definitely looks like it's on the cards now. And the gold is probably preempting it. The way we've snapped back up here today, we've gone from 24 to 32, 1324 to 32 pretty quickly, and pretty, methodically with authority. And I think if you look at, it honestly feels to me like we're going to have an explosive up move here in gold and silver very soon. If we take out any of these recent highs, 1350 on the gold, $15 on the silver, you're going to see something really amazing happen. You're going to see if you thought the last move was vertical, the next one could be just 90 degrees straight up.
Here's silver right here.
So it really looks like it's obviously, look, it might take a few more days. We've got about a week before the next Fed meeting, but within that week we could do enough work around this recent bottom. It's almost like a kind of a head and shoulders bottom developing there. Do you see that? And once we take out, I think you're going all the way to 17.5, 18 on the silver, and gold. We talked about it yesterday. You're probably going to go up $300, 350, somewhere like that. So, you're talking 1650. If we start getting up to 1650, 1700, you're so close to 1900. And having looked at those charts as we did yesterday, which was quite an eye-opener for everybody, I'm sure, with the extremely bullish profile for the Australian dollar, and similar, the Chinese yuan, obviously gold in the Chinese yuan right now is probably approaching all-time highs. I don't know whether we looked at that one yesterday.
The Chinese yuan. Here we go.
Yeah,
it's a daily chart.
Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, we just made a new all-time high.
Yeah, we sure did.
Can you go back to
weekly or something?
2011, just weekly, okay. Probably.
Right,
oh no, we've got a ways to go in the UN. So wrong about that. Sorry.
But, but we certainly are. Yeah, but if we take out this area right here, John, then look, we've got a huge window of opportunity up to these highs right here.
Yeah. There's something wrong with that chart because if you look at the yuan versus the dollar, we're kind of making new 10-year lows right now. So
let's try that. Yuan. So do I want to go U.S. dollar? This one, the top one?
Yeah. Oh no, the yuan U.S. dollar.
Okay. Am I missing that?
Just below Chinese. Down 3 from where you are.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean there is definitely something wrong with that chart. Oh, no, I suppose not. Well, it was. No, it has to be wrong because look where it was in 2009. So the chart doesn't jive. Let me switch it back to a daily and see if that looks any different. Scrunch it up. I have to defer to your expertise on this. Well, what I'm getting at is a 2009 if you look at that, we're back to 2009 levels on the UN, and as we commented yesterday, this whole decade is being a kind of a rollover in the UN. If you can go back to the weekly.
Sure. There we go.
I mean, look at it. So
that's a real interesting time right there.
Yeah. I mean, it really looks like, that measured move, you take that since 16 to 14 and a half, it sort of projects down towards 13, 13 and a half, somewhere like that. And, listen, if there was some sort of a news report that Xi wasn't going to meet Trump or something, and Trump said he's going to put on another $350 billion in tariffs, something like that.
And Xi and Putin are going horseback riding, I think. They're getting pretty.
And this chart kind of, basically projects, if they decide to lower their currency down to 13 or they're basically taking 10% back, if you like, to compete with the tariffs. So it could be a hardball kind of an exercise. But I think, look, what I've been saying for a long time is the Chinese population, that have seen this huge wealth surge, more billionaires in China today than almost anywhere else,
right?
And tremendous wealth growth, unbelievable increase in millionaires, and a very strong currency at the same time, from going up to the Chinese, from a Chinese point of view, their yuan has been kind of invincible, right? The economy's been invincible. But now it's all coming apart, and you only have to go down towards 14. I think at 14, you're starting to, you'll start to see some panic buying come in. Remember those the lines, 10,000 people queuing outside these gold stores back in 2011. Remember those?
Yes, I do remember that.
You're probably going to see that again. And this thing with Hong Kong, where 1 million people demonstrated. I mean, that's a kind of something that I'm sure.
Oh, and also, John, in that same vein of what you just said, here in Phoenix, and I know that we had talked about it a long time ago, all of a sudden there was these little signs and flyers popping up everywhere, tacked up to telephone poles and light poles, we buy gold, we'll buy your gold, call this number. Everybody, they were trying to,
yeah. So, but the point is, at what point, when will the one, you're talking of such big numbers, it's 1.45 billion people, maybe a third of those people really start buying gold in earnest. I mean, you're talking just like staggering potential. And the sort of thing that could push gold up to $8,000 in the same way as Bitcoin rose, from 1,000 to 20.
Correct.
And then you're getting Russia, talking about this gold crypto. There's several different countries talking about gold-backed cryptos, this sort of thing. All of these.
Well, China and Russia are supposed to be putting together some kind of gold-backed something. I read the other day.
Well, a gold-backed crypto is a no-brainer if you think about it, because the problem with Bitcoin is it doesn't have any backing, whereas a gold-backed crypto would, and it would be like an ETF. It would be like a highly leveraged ETF that people would, in a go boom, are going to go crazy because of the transferability of it and the immediacy of it, the ability to liquidate, so I mean, quite interesting, because I was thinking, everything's cool at the moment, but if we ever got into a really big war, a world war or something like that, and you try to figure out where you can put money safely, in which country you might, is a safe place to put your money, it could probably going to see days like that in the future. The ultimate place to keep your money would be in a gold-backed Bitcoin, I would think.
You see this up on my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. I know I told you and everyone in the audience back a few weeks ago that I had gone into the ranch market, and they had a machine there, the Coinstar machine, where people normally take in their piggy bank or their jar of coins, pour it in, and it counts it and gives you a receipt, just like this, where you go to the cashier and they give you folding money for your change, and they take a small percentage. Can I blow this up? Oh yeah, down here. Okay. All right. Now, my thought initially when I saw the machine, and the machine only takes cash, I go, wow, finally someone's figured a way to do Bitcoin anonymously like the creator originally intended. Because the creator, Satoshi, he did not envision all the regulation and things now, the KYC, know your customer laws. And so the privacy element's kind of been left in the dust. And I thought, boy, here it is. Unfortunately, I went there, I put my $5 into the machine on Saturday. I got my receipt. And what you do is you have to take, and I thought it would be more like a paper wallet. You take this and you go to coinme.com, which is a crypto exchange. You have to open an account there, comply with all the know your customer laws, provide your picture ID, all of that stuff. And then you put in this code, and now suddenly you have $5 worth of Bitcoin in your account. So is it still cool? Does it still enable the average person who's not sophisticated with finance and technology and computers and all of that? Does it allow them to simply buy some Bitcoin and with just a few keystrokes, own some? Yes, it does. But I was a little sad to see that the privacy element goes away. The person that figures a way around that without violating any laws, they're going to really be onto something. The only way I know of right now, you can use a thing called local Bitcoins. And this is a little sketchy. You go to the local Bitcoins, you find somebody in your area that has Bitcoin they want to sell, and they literally meet you in a parking lot, right? Like it's a drug deal or something. You pay them cash money, and they hand you a little drive, a thumb drive, or a paper wallet, something that has your Bitcoin on it. And that is untraceable. Nobody will ever know, unless this guy takes down your license plate and reports you or something. But I don't think he will because he was in on it. Is it illegal? I don't know. In most areas, maybe it isn't. Maybe it isn't. But that is the only way I know of right now. And maybe someone else out there knows another way or a better way. But what we're looking for is a legal way to own Bitcoin anonymously for whatever reason. Whatever your reason is for wanting to own it anonymously, is there a way to do that? Now, there was a site. It was called a crypto blender. You go there, you put your money into the pot, they hit the button on the blender, spits it back out, and somehow that Bitcoin is no longer traceable back to you. Now again, we're not discussing this because we want somebody to break the law. Completely the opposite. We want to know what the law is so that we can comply with it. But would we like to own it anonymously? I think some people might for whatever their reason. So anyway, that's my Bitcoin story. You can buy cars out of a vending machine now and Bitcoin. All right, John, you need to get that? That'd be a hard yes. Okay. All right.
Yeah, apparently.
Let's get this out of the way. Bring the chart back up. All right, here we go. Oh, I gotta fix this. See how my tabs still don't show up down below? Gotta manually resize this thing, and it's not right. But I'll figure it out. Okay. All right. While John's on that call, let's do this. Let's pop over to last night. Concierge Trade Alerts. Which, by the way, if someone would like to grab a screenshot, I'm going to pull it up and give you that opportunity right now. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. Last night's Concierge Trade Alert said to consider being long the S&P 500 Emini Futures at 28.98. The swing high of the session, 29.11.50. So that would be, Michael, is that 12 points?
I think so.
Sounds about right. At $50 per point would be $600 per contract traded. Now, the only issue with that is you really have to struggle. You really have to get lucky. That's the right term. You have to get lucky to get out of the swing high or the swing low because you don't know it is such until after the fact. Now, beautiful thing about the Concierge Trade Alerts, they're direction agnostic, which means some days we get two-sided action. Concierge Trade Alert also said if the opportunity presents, just like you might go long 28.98, you might also have an interest in going short at 28.84. Right there. Okay. Swing low, 28.79 and a quarter. So, what do we got there? 5 points?
Looks about right.
All right. So 12 and 5. Now, for those of you that are not CFRN partners, not passport holders, just take a look at this for a moment. Reflect. Were you watching the charts last night? Were you looking for a place to potentially enter the market long? Today, when the market's reversed on us, were you looking for a spot to perhaps get short? If you are a CFRN partner or a passport holder, you have that information at your fingertips. Okay. Once this report comes out, and I try to get it out every evening by 9 p.m. Eastern, I was running about 30 minutes late. Often I get it out, right at the Globex Open. Last night I was just a few minutes late. But two beautiful opportunities in the S&P. If you're an S&P trader, you might find this of interest. On the Dow, Concierge Trade Alert last night said to consider being long 26185, the swing high, 26260. Gonna guess that's about 80 Dow points at $5 per point. That would be $400 per contract traded if you got out at the swing high. If you didn't, well, you can do the math, okay, wherever you chose to get out. Again, the market offered us two-sided action. Concierge Trade Alert, our static report, which is good the entire session, said to consider being short 26045. John, is that you?
Hi.
Yeah, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks. By the way, take a look at the dust, the J dust, or the dust. Let me just look at the J dust. That might even be better. The dust probably. CUST. It's
yeah, I will. I'll bring it up here in just one second.
on the point of hitting new all-time lows. In other words, that last rally and the dust got taken apart pretty quick.
Okay, did you want the dust or the J dust?
Dust. Dust is a better one. Yeah.
Okay. All right, now that's weekly. What you want, daily?
Daily, I think. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Look how close it is to making new lows there.
Wow.
See, look the way it just collapsed off that last rally. That's got to be bullish for gold. Jeepers, you know.
Just trying to pull it up. There we go. Pull it up so we can see it. Yeah. Now is that? Well, how? What is the low of this thing? Is that the low?
You're looking at it.
All-time historic, right there.
Low, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And it could. I mean, this thing could really go down big time. You know, it could breaks down below 15. It could. That's why I think we're going to have a vertical up move in gold.
Now, you want to look at the J dust too?
The J dust is a little bit stronger at the moment. It's but it's probably going to go the same way.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah, some kind of chart.
It really is.
The breakdown from that is just catastrophic. So
We talked yesterday a lot about Beyond Meat. Did you see the news that came out on Beyond Meat yesterday or this morning?
No, I did not.
J.P. Morgan downgraded. I think it was J.P. Morgan. I've got the article right here. J.P. Morgan downgraded Beyond Meat today after the company's stock surged more than 600% from its initial public offering price of $25. The firm, which was the lead underwriter for the Red Hot IPO, downgraded the stock to neutral from overweight and kept its price target of $120. The alternative meat company reported stronger than expected earnings last week, its first earnings report since going public. Now, the reason for this, the JP Morgan analyst said the stock is beyond our price target. In other words, it's done better than so much better than they expected. They just don't really know what to do with it right now. So they've taken it from overweight to neutral. The share price has already exceeded the price target of every analyst on Wall Street, and short sellers have lost more than $400 million betting against the plant-based burgers stock since it went public. Now, you got hit hard today off of that downgrade, but I can see that as nothing more than a tremendous buying opportunity. Beyond Meat. Let's go 30 minutes. Oh yeah, this is what a downgrade looks. It's their first earnings report, which they beat. And then we get this gap. Oh, and look at this. Oh, this is a gift. This is a gift. Now, this is not a recommendation to buy or sell any security, but if you have an interest in these types of things, you might, give it some consideration and, of course, do your own due diligence. There's other Beyond Meat news today. They are launching a meatier version of their plant-based Beyond Burger. The new formula, which more closely mimics the texture of beef, comes as Tyson Foods and Nestle prepare to launch their own plant-based meat alternatives. Now, this plant-based meat alternative, folks, that's not something new. I mean, this is the best that anyone's ever done with it. But I remember back when I first met my wife, and we were living with all the hippies out in California, you could go to the health food store and you could buy plant-based meat alternatives way back then. Didn't taste much like meat. In fact, didn't taste very good. Every now and then you'd come across something, but there wasn't enough of an audience. I mean, even if you found a good one, you stocked up on it because you knew it was going to disappear after a few months because there just weren't enough consumers out there buying it. So this is a very interesting story, and we're going to continue to follow this, and who knows? I don't rush out and buy stocks very often, but this and that ETF we looked at yesterday, Nerds, they both have my attention. And I think over time they're both going to do quite well. Oh, maybe it was Nerd. How did we bring that up? Yeah, there we go, Nerd. Yep, this is it. Okay, let's go daily. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. And today's price, $15.56. It's difficult to do technical analysis on something with such a short history. I'm sorry?
20 before you know it, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Could you put up ICPT?
Mm-hmm.
I think this stock might have bottomed.
Look at that. Yeah.
Take a look at the large, squeeze it up a bit. You'll see it's got a quite an interesting, sort of. Remember, we said it might spike down, and appears to have done that.
That might be it. And trading $93 might confirm or serve as early confirmation that is in fact a bottom.
Also, take a look at ABBV.
ABBV. What do these guys do?
They've got a new product out being advertised called Mayviret, which is a possibly faster and better treatment for hepatitis C than the one put out by that's the one, yeah. There's a few of them. There's the one, that's Gilead.
Gilead.
The thing about these treatments is they're outrageously expensive, but they do the job. And I noticed, actually was looking at that stock as a buying opportunity yesterday, and it popped up today.
This one, Guild. In Arbol. I'm not sure if I'm spelling that right. Did you mean in Arbol? Maybe I did. Okay. Now, this is going to blow your mind, folks. I don't think I've talked to you about it yet. Now, this is in the news. This is current. This is right here, right now. In fact, I asked my wife, I said, I wonder if we could just hop across the border and buy some Enbrel without a prescription. Are you with me, John?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Did Pfizer really hide info about a drug treatment? Have you heard about this? Did Pfizer really hide info about a drug that could prevent Alzheimer's? Not so fast, say researchers. Now, I've already studied this, and was the Washington Post careless in its reporting last week? Some members of the medical community say yes. Here's what happened. Pfizer decided against a clinical trial because their Enbrel patent was set to expire and thus could not profit from their findings. Could that also be why they hid their findings? This incendiary report of the big pharma company sent shockwaves through the Alzheimer's community and the public at large. I want to see if I can find the results right here. It's stunning. A couple of 100,000 insurance company report. This is how they got onto this. Is that now? This has nothing to do. Enbrel has nothing to do with Alzheimer's. It's designed to treat. Is it rheumatoid arthritis? Now, what Pfizer's trying to say is...
Enbrel. Yeah, that's correct. It's been around for a while.
Pfizer said, well, it's kind of anecdotal evidence. I'm sorry, 200,000 reports from insurance companies? Well, yeah, but it just doesn't make sense how this Enbrel could, help Alzheimer's. They had all these excuses. It was going to cost them $8 million to launch an actual clinical trial to determine if this was effective against Alzheimer's. And they're like, oh, we just don't think there's enough data to warrant us, launching a full-scale clinical trial. But up here, it clearly says their patent was about to expire. They couldn't profit from it. So they got to come in back door now with an Alzheimer drug based off the Enbrel formula, something they can get a new patent on. And you know what? There's so many people suffering right now that could possibly be helped by this. This is, big pharma, man. Crickets. The Post focuses on the fact that Pfizer didn't publish their findings. They downplay the fact that the company did give one researcher the use of the information to apply for a grant. I would like to, okay, maybe I can find the original article. Okay, in 2015, Pfizer discovered their drug, Enbrel, an anti-inflammatory used to treat rheumatoid arthritis, appeared to lower the risk of Alzheimer's disease by a whopping 64%. No one ever learned about this discovery, however, because the company chose not to pursue any further investigation and decided not to release the findings. Pfizer uncovered Enbrel's potential for preventing Alzheimer's. See, it says preventing, during an analysis of hundreds of thousands of insurance claims. Company documents obtained by the Washington Post state Enbrel could potentially safely prevent, treat, and slow progression of Alzheimer's. However, figuring out if the drug would actually have that effect in people at risk of the disease would require an $80 million clinical trial. After 3 years of internal debate, Pfizer decided against the trial, despite recommendations from researchers in the company's division of inflammation and immunology. They also decided to keep their findings silent. This stinks to high heaven. This is bad. This is real bad. How could anybody withhold? Yeah, but back to what I originally said. For those who live in the southern part of the United States, close to the Mexican border, many of you know that Americans who have drug prescriptions from their doctor for all sorts of things, those drugs can be very expensive here in the United States if you don't have proper insurance. But you can go across the border in every border town that I've been in, pharmacies everywhere, and you can buy the same drugs manufactured by the same pharmaceutical company for, sometimes half, sometimes even less. And so it's a regular thing for many retired people, older people. In Arizona, they'll carpool once a month. They all go down. They get their medication. They come back, and they don't get hassled at the border because they're not illegal drugs. They're not opiates. They're not other things of that nature. There's stuff for rheumatoid arthritis and other things, from diabetes to you name it. So, what do you think, John?
Yeah, no, that's.
I'm gonna go buy some and start selling it here at the swap meet. No, I'm just kidding. I won't do that, but.
They're going to, I think the drug price is going to start coming down actually soon.
Well, Trump is putting pressure on them to do so.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody knows about this now. And I know that in our own little ecosystem here at CFRN, we have a number of partners who have a spouse or another family member who is, suffering right now with Alzheimer's, and I've talked to some of them who they've looked at, these drug studies. What do you call it when you sign yourself up for a trial and you don't know if they're giving you the real drug or the sugar pill? What do they call those? I forget. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so they're trying all this experimental stuff that could actually be harmful, more harmful than helpful. Here's something, we got evidence, empirical evidence, and it's not just a couple of random cases. I don't know. I'm very, very disturbed by this whole development here. All right, what else you want to look at?
No, listen, I think we kind of covered it today. The market, we're kind of getting to a point where the pullback might hold here. We're trying to bounce a little bit, but a lot of stocks are being hit today. The profit taking from this last rally. I would definitely keep an eye on Intercept, Agio also, and AbbVie. These because it's kind of weird today. Those stocks are all up, and yet the LABU is down. So the fact that these stocks are up in a down market is quite positive.
Our downside target for this move, John, is 28.68. So we'll see what happens.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I think that's. If it doesn't, the less we pull back on this, the more bullish this next up move might be. And if the Fed were to come out with some kind of a shock decision next week, the market could explode higher, and probably the metals along with it.
Yeah, and a reminder to everyone, we've got rollover coming this week. And that can always make for a week of difficult trading as you have volumes start to split between the two contracts. I mean, we'll muddle on, we'll move right ahead, business as normal, we'll trade what's in front of us. But just a heads up, official rollover day Thursday. However, we don't actually roll in our live trading room, usually on Friday. That is when the volume in the new contract exceeds the volume in the old contract. That's when we officially switch our symbol. And likewise, all Concierge Trade Alerts and Logic 247 alerts coming out Friday will announce it, and then all alerts will embrace the new contract. Okie doke.
Okie doke. Well, listen, have a great afternoon. Thanks.
Hey, Bill. I was just thinking about you, brother. All right, John, have a great day.
You too.
Okay. S&P, we already discussed. Concierge Trade Alert. Consider being long 28.98. The market handed out 12 points. Could you get 12 points? Well, if you got out at the exact swing high, you could. But since we know you probably didn't, all right, if you were able to get even half of it, well, that's 6 points. That's a pretty respectable living, okay? Now, let me talk about this for just a second, and then we'll go through the rest of the markets. I meet a lot of people, talk to a lot of people who are really struggling with this whole trading thing, not because they haven't yet come across a way of trading the market. They have. But so many people out there are trying to get rich off one contract. Now, I'm not encouraging anybody to trade above your pay grade. In fact, we're quite strict with our partners and our passport holders. We can't make anybody do anything. Sometimes I wish I could, all right, because I do hear some horror stories. But if you decide to get your education with us, we're going to be very stern that you need to put together, at a minimum, 10 consecutive days in a row where you're able to reach your daily goal in 10 trades or less. Might sound simpler than it really is, okay? Now, I'm talking 10 consecutive days where you reach your goal in 10 trades or less. Okay? Once you accomplish that, and I'll be honest, most people don't make it the first time, right? You get to day 4, you get to day 6, whatever the case might be. Happens a lot on day 10, right? Because the pressure's on. But once you do put together those 10 consecutive days in a row, and you and I have a real heart-to-heart talk about what it means to go live and all of the new emotions that you're going to find you possess, right? They're all going to come out to play at once, and it can be a little freaky. So I talk with you about that, and then you have to make the decision if you're ready to go live or not. I mean, you've technically qualified with the 10 consecutive days in a row. Do you feel that you're mentally ready? You know what? You may never be mentally ready, and so that's why our 24/20 blueprint maps it out going live with just one contract. Okay? The reason for that is if you find great success, also, if you stumble, you're not going to blow up your account trading one contract. If you do, you don't have enough money to be trading anyway, so you just need to, be patient until you accumulate more of a nest egg. Okay. Now, once you begin trading that one contract, and you find yourself continuing to be consistently profitable, the blueprint says increase your account balance by $2,000 trading one contract. Once you do that, you add a second contract using profits that you generated trading your first contract. The blueprint then offers a calendar-based method. So initially it's performance-based. Got to put together those 10 days in a row before you even go live. Once you go live, you only go live with one contract so you don't get carried away. You increase your account balance by $2,000, not in a day, not in 2 days, at $100 a day. 20 days. Let it sink in. This is not a race. This is a lifestyle, okay? And you got to make sure you're ready. You got to make sure you have a firm foundation underneath your trading business, or it will become a sinkhole, okay? So earning $100 per day, after 20 days, you've increased your account balance, give or take, by $2,000. May take 25 days, could take whatever. It takes as long as it takes. Patience and discipline, okay? You add that second contract, you've just doubled your income from $100 a day to $200 a day, okay? Now, as I said, at that point, we go from performance-based to calendar-based, which means you're going to look at the calendar in the blueprint, and it will tell you on what day you will add the third contract in adherence with the blueprint, and the fourth, and the fifth, and the sixth, all based on the assumption that you remain consistently profitable, okay? Because if you stumble, if you find yourself 2 days back to back not reaching your goal, the blueprint is very clear. You step back into sim. Now, that's no walk of shame. That's a walk Warren Buffett would gladly take to preserve his empire. You're back in sim. We do some intense mentoring sessions. We help you discover what happened. It might have nothing to do with you. You might have been in a sideways market for 2 days, range bound, and you kept trying to knock one out of the park, and well, that's just not fertile soil for knocking one out of the park. Once we understand what happened, was it you, was it the market, what's up, you regain your confidence you step right back out where you left off. You don't got to go back to square one and start over again. You don't got to go back to the drawing board, because everything you've learned so far is still valid. You just had an issue, an episode. We take care of that. You step right back out where you left off. Okay? When the calendar says you had your 4th, you had your 5th. Now, the 2420 blueprint is called that because it's designed to help a trader go from 1 to 20 contracts over a period of 24 months. It's actually a very conservative roadmap, if you will. Now, when you get halfway to the blueprint goal, well, that's 10 contracts. Remember, you started out in Sim earning your daily goal, $100 per contract per day. When you went live with one contract, that goal did not change. Still, $100 per day. That's your daily goal. Okay? You're not trying to get rich off one contract. I'll talk more about that in a second. When you hit that halfway mark at 10 contracts, 2 points a day becomes not $100 a day, but because you've earned the right to trade 10 contracts, you're now at $1,000 a day. That's $5,000 a week. That's $250,000 a year. That is what the top 3% of wage earners worldwide are making, that and above. A $250,000 annual income puts you in the top 3%. Now, am I saying if you use our indicators and our method and follow our blueprint that you're going to make $250,000 a year? Absolutely not. That would just be ridiculous. Do I think our indicators, our method, and our blueprint are those great tools for helping you achieve such a noble goal? Yeah, I certainly do. Put my life on it. But I don't know what's going to happen with you and our indicators and our methodology and our blueprint. I don't know if you have patience. I don't know if you have self-discipline. I don't know if you're going to follow the rules perfectly. I have no way of knowing if you're going to do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. That's why we certainly can't make you any kind of promise or guarantee. But we can certainly show you how it works, put the knowledge and the tools at your disposal, work with you, mentor you, help you every possible way. But ultimately, it's up to you. You're the one who determines if you're going to become a consistently profitable trader. Now, you're able to determine that because you have the knowledge, the tools, and the support. 99% of traders out there struggling, trying to learn how to trade, don't have all of those. Some of them don't have any of them. They've gotten frustrated and aggravated, like I talked about earlier on, and now they're just clicking the mouse, hoping. So what trading strategy do you use? Hope and prayer. Hope and prayer is really important, but it's not a trading strategy. Okay, now I started this out by saying there's a lot of people out there trying to get rich off one contract. What do I mean by that? Okay. I just walked you through step by step how 2 points a day in the S&P 500, that's 8 ticks, 2 points, can take you to a wonderful place. But many people out there are trading one contract and they've got goals of like $500 a day. Maybe they too would like to make $1,000 a day, but not with 10 contracts. They want to do it with one because that's safer. That's less risk. That's just not very smart. I'm sorry. I meant that with Christian love. Think about it. Now, when the market hands you a 12-point move, okay, blind squirrel finds an acorn every now and then, yeah. Like down here on the down move, right? Drop 5 points. We're talking about a 2-point daily goal. If you're trying to get 10 points out of this move, okay, this move, it happened. No worries. But what if you're trying to get 10 points out of this move? Oh my God, what did I do wrong? I got to go back to the drawing board. My method sucks. My indicators suck. I suck. Oh, help me, God. Sit down. Take a rest. You weren't able to take 10 points out of this move because it didn't go 10 points. What's the average swing in the S&P 500 Emini Futures? I've been talking about it with you now I've been talking about it for years, but I've been bringing it up over the last couple of weeks. Rather than try to do something, try to get the market to do something that it doesn't always do, why not zero in your efforts on something that the market almost always does? When there's a legitimate move on in the S&P, the average swing is, go back and listen to previous radio shows or book a mentoring session, and I'll break it down for you on the chart. I broke it down here on the radio show a week or two ago. Now, imagine you got your one contract on, you get triggered in, woohoo, right? And you've given up on 1,000 a day. You know what? I'm going to be happy. I just want to make 500 a day. Okay. Man, this thing starts dropping pretty soon. It's dropped 5 points. Woohoo! You've made $250 per contract already. And then the market turns around and goes the other way. Was it the indicator's fault? Was it the methodology's fault? Was it because your wife snipped at you this morning as you were leaving the house to go to the office? No, it's none of that. Now, if you had earned the right, and that's really important to understand, if you had earned the right to trade 10 contracts and you wanted to make $1,000 a day, does that opportunity exist here? Yep. Does that opportunity exist here? Yep. This move over here, and this move over here, this move right here, did that exist? Yep. Now, the equivalent of 2 points in the Dow, at 2 S&P points in the Dow, that'd be 20 points. That qualify? Yeah. That qualify? Yeah. Follow me? So, this is something to reflect on. This is something to think about. I meet and talk with many people, many traders, would-be traders, on a daily basis. They've hung around us long enough or learned it somewhere else, kind of how markets work. And they've either got our strategy or they got some other kind of strategy that's, it's working for them. But they're still not successful. They're still not consistently profitable. They're still aggravated, constipated, mad at the world because they're not achieving the goal that they set out for themselves. Evaluate your goal. Is what you're trying to do realistic? Hey man, all I want to do is go in every day, trade my one contract, take 10 points out of the market, go golf. Well, that sounds real pretty, but it's not realistic. Again, I would never ever encourage anyone to trade above their pay grade. Again, if you're listening to this, not live, but recording, you should hit the rewind button just a little bit and listen to what I said, how I walked you through those steps. From sim to live with 1 contract to 2 to 3. Now, once you've earned the right to trade 10 contracts, never forget that 9 of the 10 you're trading are underwritten by profits you actually earned in the market. Now, does that not sound like the perfect way to build a successful business? Funding it with your own success, not borrowing it, not doing whatever, right? Think about it. And I encourage you, book a mentoring session. I'd love to spend a little time with you. Answer all of your questions, okay? Don't throw money at the market. Don't throw money at educators. Don't throw money at indicators and oscillators and gurus and chat rooms. Don't. Investigate. Do your own due diligence. Ask questions. See it with your own eyes. And I got news for you. Anybody that won't let you see it with your own eyes, keep walking. If they won't let you use their indicators before you have to pay for them, keep walking. If they won't give you some of their time before you pay, keep walking. Last night, Russell, Concierge Trade Alert. Consider being long 1530. Swing high 1538.20. An 8-point move in the Russell at $50 per point, $400 per contract traded. So would that allow a person to make $100 per contract? Yeah, 4 times, right? But there's only one spot where there is a pre-vetted, high probability opportunity to do so. Did you know that even consistently profitable professional traders, most of them still spend 80% of their time looking for the next trade setup? 80% sounds like a lot. Think about it like this and it'll sound like even more. That's 4 days out of a 5-day week. 4 days hunting for 1 day of trading. What if you never had to look again? What if you had a steady stream of pre-vetted, high probability opportunities? All you got to do is when it comes down the pipe, you take it, you look at it, put it on your own chart, you give it the final validation. You didn't have to go hunt and find it. Somebody else already did all that leg work for you. But it is your responsibility to look at the alert, look at the chart structure, and make sure it's kosher. All right? Okay. We had two-sided action in the Russell. Let me show you that. So being short at or below 1520. That's going to be right here. Okay, 1520. Swing low. 1511.40. We'll call it 1512. That's 8 points. $50 a point. $400 per contract traded. Is it possible to reach your goal? Up here, times 4, yeah. Down here, times 4, yeah. NASDAQ. Lots of people love to trade the NASDAQ. Last night's alert said to consider being long 75.47. Now the swing high was, and we've already discussed the difficulty of getting out of swing highs and swing lows, so please keep that in mind. 7,600, no. Yep, 7,675. We'll just call it 7,600. Okay. That's 53 NASDAQ points. Alexa.
I'm having trouble connecting. I'll keep trying.
Oh, be still, my beating heart. What happened? Alexa, what happened?
I'm having trouble connecting.
All right.
I'll keep trying.
I was going to have her do some simple math for me, but I think we can figure it out. What did I say, 53 points? At $20 a point, let's call it $1,000. Now that's $1,000 one contract move. Imagine if you had earned the right to confidently trade 10 contracts. You can do the math. Just keep in mind, you probably won't get out of the swing high or this swing low. Did we have two-sided action in the NQ? Consider short at or below 74.81. We've not triggered that yet. So there's your radio freebie if we get down there. Okay. All right. Concierge, last time I checked, did not trigger on crude and did not trigger on gold or soybeans. Okay. We do 8 markets every night on the Concierge Trade Alerts. Now that is, again, a static report good for the entire session. The Logic 247 alerts, those are dynamic. They come out live in real time as market structure develops. When you find, this is just a little bonus tip, when you find that something from the static report beautifully lines up with one of the dynamic alerts, oh, my goodness. And it lines up with a weekly trading zone. That has the potential to be a very beautiful thing. All right. If you have any questions, call us 949-42-EMINI. 949-423-6464. Okay. Let's go to our good word for the day. Yeah, I'll save that little bit of news for tomorrow. Okay? All right. If you have any final parting questions, put them in the chat box. I'll take care of them before I go. Oh, reminder, tomorrow night, I haven't talked to Scott today, but we should be on track for our Crypto Portfolio Builders Wednesday night class. And Valerie, if you would go ahead and get that email invitation in the wind today, and then maybe we'll follow it up with a reminder tomorrow. That would be wonderful. Thank you very much. All right. We talked about prayer all last week. Yesterday, we talked about praying for our children, the importance of that. Today, let's talk about the ultimate purpose of prayer. Is it to move God's hand? Is it to change other people? Or is it a little more personal than that? Romans 8:29. To be conformed to the likeness of his Son. Is that what prayer is all about? Well, the Bible says, those God foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the likeness of his Son. When you read the verses that come before that, you discover God does this through prayer. And that should encourage you to pray. Many times we don't pray because we don't think anything's happening. What's to pray about? But with God, something's always happening. We wonder, well, when's he going to do something? When's God going to go to work? When's God going to fix this? He's always working. What we fail to understand is he's always working. When it comes to prayer, he's either answering the way you hoped or, and this is really important, changing your heart through the Spirit's intercession to bring your prayer into harmony with his will. I'm sure you've all heard that country song. One of God's greatest gifts is unanswered prayer. How many times have we prayed for something that if God had granted it, it would be like allowing a kid to go out and play in the street in traffic. Not a good idea. That's why I'm glad he's God and I'm not. Now, you might say, I don't see anything going on. Shouldn't somebody it's like a trader, right? Once you take on the mantle of trader, well, you think you should always be trading. But there's not always a trading opportunity. But we'll save that for another day. Let's go gardening. When you plant a seed, you don't come back the next day expecting green shoots and leaves. Does that mean nothing's happening? No. All kinds of stuff are taking place below the ground where you can't see them. Do not make the mistake of thinking that because you don't see the evidence that nothing is happening. It's just not harvest time yet. One way in which God is making us more like Jesus is by helping us to pray the way Jesus prayed. In Luke 22:42, Jesus prayed this, "Not my will, but yours be done." Side note, my wife and I used to run a Christian coffee house, Sweet Daddy's, long story, but we had this beautiful historic church downtown, and anyway, one of the groups that came to regularly play was a group called Will Be Done. Now that's spelled W-I-L-B-Y, second word, done, D-U-N-N. Get it? Not my will, but thine be done. Will be done. Get it? They took rock and roll songs, like Sympathy for the Devil, changed the lyrics up a little bit, turned them into Christian songs. The head of the group, I'm trying to think of his name, he called it Saving Songs. Yeah. Great time in our life. Really was. Okay. Luke 22:42 will be done. That means when your prayer lines up with his will. When your prayer lines up with the will of God, creator of the universe, he's already working on it, even if you can't see it. And if your prayer isn't in accordance with his will, then he's working to change your request by changing you. How often do we pray that God would change somebody else because they're a nut? God, they're just a nut. Fix them. Next time you feel called to pray that prayer for someone, I'm just trying to help them. They're obviously a nut. I just want to help them. Ask God to change you. Is there some remote possibility that they're not the nut? Or maybe you're both nuts. Maybe you're mixed nuts. Shake the can. Unanswered prayer can be as big a blessing as answered prayer when it keeps us from violating the will of God. Do we not all want to comply with the will of God? Yeah, as believers, we do. But admit it, sometimes you're not really sure what the will of God is, right? Gotcha. No. You know right from wrong. You know the will of the Father. If you've been infilled with the Holy Spirit, you always know. Well, the little voice inside of you knows, the one that's never wrong. Man, we can tune that thing out so quick. Right? Stop it. The next time you think you don't know the will of God, go try to look yourself in the mirror and say that to yourself with a straight face. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I don't know. But that little exercise, okay, all right, I know what the will of God is. Because, see, the will of God, it's not something that, changes like with every blowing of the wind, whichever way the wind blows. No. It was written down long ago in the good book. How many times have you heard, the word says, the word says, the word says? Yeah? So how is it that we don't know the will of the Father? Well, I'm just not sure if he wants me to wear my red shirt today or my blue shirt. Stop. He's busy, right? You pick one. I'm sure he'll go along with it, all right? We get ourselves all tied up in a knot sometimes, highly charged, full of emotion. If we would just be still. And it's hard. In this fast-paced world we live in today, it's hard to just be still. But try it. The next time you are beside yourself with anger or any other emotion, just be still. Make yourself. Just be still and know that He is God. Man, that'll put you in your place so quick, and that's a good thing, because He's God, and I'm not, and you're not. That's our good word for the day. Phil, I taught you that in the last mentoring session, brother. But I know it's easy to forget because I throw so much stuff at you, and it's been a long time since I've seen you in a session. So I look forward to seeing you real soon. And I'm typing in your answer right now. That's going to do it, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.